Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The 4th annual Rib Fest is being held over the weekend here in Lloydminster. With more, here's Callan Dunlop.
Through Border City Connects, RibFest makes its annual return to the city. With no admission, people can experience 4 different rib truck vendors, as well as other food trucks and a Border City Connects lemonade stand. For the vendors, RibFest is a great opportunity to spread awareness as well as give back to the community.
Well, we love to support our local nonprofit organizations. Border City Connect, they've been with us for about 4 years on board now here in Lloydminster.
RibFest's first year was during the pandemic, where they had a drive-through instead. Fast forward to today, and it's safe to say the event thrives when people are able to gather.
But the Rib Fest is really about festival, right? So this year, in the last year, we have had an actual full-on festival with beer gardens, live bands, and all the ribs and all the food you can eat. But for me, it's about community. So how can we make the event better? So this year, we've relocated Rib Fest down to the Service Sports Center because the Just Cruise and Show and Shine is on Saturday as well. So that's a big deal. You can come down, you can see all the classic cars and check that out, and also come down and have lunch. Sunday, Father's Day, that's the why we choose this weekend. Great way to make supper for your dad.
The vendors come from all across Canada and even beyond Canada for the chance to appear at RibFest.
We're originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I bought the team 4 years ago, so I've got the Canadian rights coast to coast. My team, I like to call us a big family. Me and my fiance, we're mom and dad out here for the crew.
For any RibFest information, visit bordercityconnects.com. Callan Dunlop, Primetime, Local News.
And moving to politics now, Scott Cyr is heading to Edmonton representing Bonnyville, Cold Lake, St. Paul. I sat down with him to see why he wanted to run again. Scott Cyr is the newly elected MLA for Bonnyville, Cold Lake, St. Paul, and he joins me today on Primetime Local News. Mr. Cyr, thank you so much for being here with us. Obviously an exciting couple of weeks here, just elected as MLA. I want to hear from you a little bit about what you're planning to do now coming into these next 4 years, UCP elected in government. What will be the priorities for you?
Thank you, Chase. I'll tell you that for myself, I put a lot of work into it. The last 28 days was getting out there, door knocking, doing meet and greets, making sure that I get out to each and every constituent that I can. And I'll tell you that during that time, I had the opportunity to hear a lot of their concerns, specifically Highway 28, access to healthcare, rural crime. Those are the 3 big ones that I'm hearing at the doors. And to be honest, I will be very adamant with my cabinet that I want to be part of a solution to these problems and make sure that we see real progression. Now, for our past caucus's credit, or the last over 4 years, we've seen the emergency services wait times starting to decrease. It was difficult during the COVID period. Clearly, we had some of our wait times start to accumulate. I can tell you it's encouraging to see these numbers go down. Over the last 3 years, we hired on an additional 1,400 nurses, foreign nurses that came into Alberta. And we accelerated them through the accreditation process, and we're looking to do something similar with our doctors. This is exciting for all of us because we want to see our level of healthcare increase. Rural crime is one of the big ones for us, being so far from a major center, because the major centers have got reaction times of probably less than 10 minutes. Probably in a lot of cases, it's even less than 5 minutes. In our case, you're seeing an average of, depending on where you're at, probably half an hour to an hour if you're away from a major center. So the fact that I'm hearing from some of our farmers that the husband and wife or the wife has to stay at home to be able to protect their property, it shows that there's a real problem. This is something we haven't had to do before. So what I am looking to do is making sure that Justin Trudeau, who has created this revolving door of in and out when it comes to bail, we start pushing back, saying that these criminals need to be left in jail to answer for their crimes. We need to start treating the criminal like a criminal and the victim like a victim. These victims are not being heard right now.
Now, you're no stranger, I'm sure, to people in your region. You were the MLA in the past. You didn't run in the last provincial election. Came back and you challenged Dave Hansen for the UCP nomination. Why did you want to get back involved in provincial politics?
Well, I can tell you that for myself, I had 2 young daughters at the time. I don't believe people realize how much effort goes into becoming an MLA. For myself, it's both feet in or both feet out. And what happened is that I wanted to spend time with my family. I've been working as an accountant for a lot of years, so it was an easy transition back into accounting. I will tell you that now my oldest is turning 18, my youngest is turning 14 this year, so they're quite a bit older than they were, and this frees up some time that I can really advocate for our local constituency, be their voice, if you will, for Edmonton. I did jump in. It was a close race between the nomination. It was 1 vote difference. We made provincial news on that. We went through a recount, and it showed that the process was strong in our local region. We went in up a vote, and we came out with up a vote after the recount was done. It just shows that the UCP really has a good strong system. It's in deciding how its nominations are done, and I'm looking forward to moving on to the general election, where we had a sweeping victory, if you will, against the NDP in our local area. I will say that the NDP candidate, I'm very thankful that she had put her name forward. It's tough to do, especially in a very strong constituency that's weighted towards the Conservatives. But she went out there, she door knocked. We met on the forums and debates. And for the most part, it was a positive campaign, and that's what people want to hear. Danielle
Smith, she came in as leader under a year ago. Now she has this new mandate. I know it's only been a little while, but I don't know if you guys have had a caucus meeting yet, but what has your interaction with the new premier been like, and are you optimistic about the next 4 years of a unity within the party and really moving forward as a united Conservative Party?
Danielle Smith, over the last 7 months, has worked very diligently to unite the party, because we had started to fracture again, and that's not good for the Conservative, the center right, if you will. We need to see a good, strong policy, and all we've seen through the NDP policy is that they end up being very divisive. And they end up collapsing our economy, which is what we saw from 2015 to 2019. For Bonnyville Cold Lake at the time, I was seeing every 4th or 5th house for sale empty, and that's something that we had never seen before. And I'll say that it was a long-lasting recession, something else we hadn't ever seen. So for our area, you can bet with my sweeping win again of over 75%. This was a strong mandate for me to go as a United Conservative to Edmonton to make sure that we continue to voice our concerns that our oil and gas is something we need to be proud of.
Well, after that gloomy day yesterday, our weather rebounded. With more, here's Abby St. John.
Thanks, Jace. Yes, today is significantly different than the day we saw yesterday. The clouds have gone away mostly. We still had some clouds, but it was mostly sunny day and very warm out, even if it's just at 24. The wind wasn't a huge issue like it was yesterday. It was super cold yesterday, especially with that wind. But it was nice that we did get that rain. We definitely needed it. And across the region, across both provinces, we saw some rain. So that's awesome to see. We're sitting at 24 here in the border city. A beautiful day out today. We are still under the thunderstorm watch and then that special air quality as well. So definitely keep up with those alerts. Across the region, similar temperatures across Alberta, 24 in Provost, Vermilion, and Bonnyville, 25 in Wainwright, 24 in Marwayne, 23 in Vegreville, 17 in Edmonton, 18 in Lac La Biche, and 23 in Cold Lake. And then on the Saskatchewan side, a lot of 24 temperatures. Macklin, North Battleford, St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, Pearceland, and Green Lake are all 24 degrees like us. 23 in Isla Crosse and in Maidstone. So similar temperatures to what we're seeing here in Lloydminster. And then overnight tonight in North Battleford, it's going to be partially cloudy, and there could be some late showers on later on in the evening. It'll drop to just 13 degrees, so it won't be too bad. It'll still be a fairly warm evening, but that rain could cool some things down just a tad. But it is really nice to see some rain, especially in the evening, so it doesn't disrupt your day. And then tomorrow it will be 25 degrees and rather cloudy day, but there should be some sun peeking out throughout the afternoon, which is always nice to see. And then in Cold Lake tonight, on and off rain, low of 10 degrees. And so most of the evening will consist of some drizzle. It shouldn't be too strong of a storm, but there is going to be some rainfall. And then kind of coming in right at the end of the evening into the morning, it'll clear out. And then tomorrow in Cold Lake, it will be 23 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. So there's not a huge chance of precipitation. You see only 1%. So there shouldn't be too worry about some rain, just some clouds rolling in. But a pretty nice day at 23 degrees. And then here in Lloydminster, mainly cloudy skies, about a 25% chance of some precipitation. But that's not a huge chance that we'll see it. Just some cloud coverage throughout the evening. And then we'll go down to a low of 10 degrees. And then tomorrow it will be 22 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds. So that will be nice to see. Similar to what we saw today will be what we see on Saturday, and that precipitation percentage goes down to 1%. So that's nice. And then over the next 3 days, we'll have a low of 10 tomorrow with that 22 degrees as your daytime high. And then on Sunday for Father's Day, we still have an 86% chance of some thunderstorms throughout the day on Sunday. So unfortunately, you may not be able to go outside to celebrate Father's Day, but it still should be a nice day with a high of 19 and a low of 9. And then on Monday will also be a high of 19 and a low of 8. And there'll be about a 55% chance that we'll see some showers in the evening. So the most of the day should be pretty clear. But that is a look at your first weather forecast. I'll have more later on.
Thank you, Abby. With seeding over, it's on to growing season. We'll have more in the crop report later in the show. Most producers in Saskatchewan have finished seeding, and so the growing season now begins. With more on this week's crop report, here's Thomas Wildman.
Today, once again, we have Matt Struthers for this week's edition of the Crop Report. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Matt.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love it every week.
All right, Matt, so we've been getting a little bit of moisture here in Lloydminster and in the Northwest region. Has that moisture been present throughout the rest of Saskatchewan now that most producers have finished up seeding?
So the province has wrapped up seeding for the most part. There's the last couple, green feed fields going in. But usually those are put in last anyways, so we're right on schedule, right where we should be. Last week we had some heavy rainstorms roll through parts of the province. Other parts just kind of got a little sprinkle here and there. Nothing that really changed their growing conditions, and so it's good to hear that the Lloydminster area and the Northwest is getting a little bit of rain. There's certainly producers up there that need it.
And so, Matt, let's focus on the Northwest region. We were leading seeding, so we are pretty much mostly done out here near Lloydminster. We were a little dry, though we have been getting some really hard rains in some parts of the Northwest region. How is it looking for moisture here in the Northwest region, as well as soil conditions and growing conditions for the Northwest?
Yeah, for moisture conditions, luckily they were able to get some rains in the last couple of weeks up there. So for topsoil moisture and for both cropland and hay and pasture, it's holding out. It's adequate for the most part, but it doesn't take long for that soil to dry out and things to start to decline. So they certainly need to have more rainfall in the forecast. An inch every other 3 days would be really nice for a crop up there. Depending on the heat, if it's really hot, maybe every other day would be nice to see a little bit of rain, just to give those crops just something to drink during those hot days. But condition-wise and also development, the crops are looking great. Most crops up in that area For spring cereals, oil seeds, and pulses, they're all in their normal, or the majority of them are in their normal stages of development. Some producers are saying they're ahead, and that's likely just due to the fact that they were able to seed earlier than they normally would. That crop's just able to get up out of the ground and start with a leg up rather than a few years. Usually they would be seeding later, and that crop would have a shorter season, but it's able to get up now. And then, just condition-wise, there's a few, with that rainfall, there's a few areas that might have been hit hard, maybe with a little bit of hail or even some standing water if the rain was quite substantial, and those areas will suffer a little bit. But overall, the crop looks very good for the Northwest and much of the province as well.
And now we'll look across the rest of the province. The Southwest has been traditionally quite dry and into that west central region, and then in the east, it's been quite wet in these past few years. How has that been looking right now with the rain that has been present throughout the rest of the province a little bit, and just their soil conditions as well as how good the growing is looking in Saskatchewan right now?
Yeah, we're seeing some in those areas here in the south and the west central where lentils or pulses are a little bit more prevalent. We're seeing a lot of root rot pop up just with those areas that were hammered with some rain. Pulses don't really like wet feet, so there's some struggling with that right now. Which that's just how it happens when you have too much moisture sometimes. So, but overall, it's nice to see it rain down here. I like to see it rain, but I don't like to see it rain 3 inches in one spot in a matter of hours. That causes a lot of issues. So I'd like to see that spread out a little bit more over the course of a day, or sorry about that, a course of a day or multiple days, especially if it's 3 inches. So no, conditions look good. A lot of producers are very optimistic and they're really happy with what they're seeing. But of course, still there's some isolated, localized dry areas, and a lot of producers out there still suffering through a lot of dry conditions. So really hoping that those producers get rain soon, especially those producers with livestock who will be cutting hay soon. As haying is coming up just around the corner, we need a lot of hay growth there to replenish the feed stocks that we've been depleting in the last 2 years.
And so, Matt, you mentioned root rot down in the southwest. Has there been any other diseases present throughout the rest of Saskatchewan? And then the other big thing that is a problem for most crops have been pests. Have any of those grasshoppers been out so far early on in the growing season?
Yeah. So, for other diseases, it's been pretty quiet on that front. There might be a few that are popping up here just with that moisture just being received. It takes a little bit of time for some to kind of become noticeable. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that, and producers for sure will be keeping an eye out for that in their fields. Grasshoppers, once again, are being big news down here, especially in the south and up into the central regions, and even there's even reports of them, creeping up farther north than they normally are. The population appears to be quite large again, just with the large egg laying that would have happened last year, and then the conditions being conducive to their development this year. Producers are once again struggling through that. So there's a lot of producers out there and spraying for them and trying to keep them down, and it's very difficult because they can cause a lot of damage quite quickly, and producers are just trying to stay ahead of that.
Thank you so much once again, Matt, for all of the information for this week's crop report, and we will talk to either you or Mackenzie very soon.
Thank you very much. Take care.
I'm joined today on Primetime Local News by Natasha Dewing with Art Soul Life Creative Studio. Natasha, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we have an exciting summer. I can't believe that I'm saying summer already, but I guess that starts next week. You are going to help, I guess, with a lot of people looking for activities. You can kind of help that now with some of the camps that you have set up at the studio. So can you tell me a little bit about what you guys have planned over the summer?
Absolutely. We've got lots of things planned. We have all of our kids' nights out as usual, planned all summer long until the end of August. We've got summer camps, 2 different ones. There's a week-long one in July from the 14th to the 21st, or 17th or the 21st. Oh my gosh. And then in August from the 14th to the 19th. So there's 2 different weeks to choose from for camps. And then we've got just some various events happening as well. We have a Taylor Swift night happening in the middle of July, and yeah.
So if people register for the camps, Natasha, what are some of the things that they get to do?
Oh my gosh, we're doing something different every day. And so they're half-day camps. They run from 1 until 4. And that includes studio time. And then when we're finished, time permitting, we'll take the kids to the park, which is just down the street. And we've got lots of outdoor activities like parachutes and balls and games and hula hoops and bubbles and stuff to play with. And time permitting as well, some of the activities we will do in the park, such as some dream catcher making and stuff like that. But most of it will be done in the studio. And then, like I said, time permitting, we'll head to the park for to stretch our legs and stuff.
So what ages are we talking about for these camps?
Yep. So they're from 6 and up.
Okay, and
Yeah.
is it something that when they sign up that they can be any skill level? Do they have to be masterful artists already?
Oh, never, never. You come and you learn and you grow and have fun and just make a mess and just be creative. Yeah.
Why is it important for you, Natasha, to do these camps and to offer these activities for kids? It's something that's so unique, and I think that they will really enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. It's really important for kids to be so well-rounded in everything that they do. And art is just a fundamental skill that every child just not only loves to do, but it's important to learn that eye-hand coordination and just to express yourself.
You mentioned some of the individual nights of things that are happening. For example, the Taylor
Yeah.
Swift night. Is that just for kids as well, or is that for any age?
Yeah, that's for kids from 8 to 18 as well. So we try to have we do have some events where we'll combine ages and some where we're separate, adults and kids, because some adults like their adult time and don't want the kids and it's vice versa. So we are having a friends night as well at the end of July, but we're actually fully booked for that one. I think I have one seat left. We have 36 seats open and we filled up right away. And that's an adult one, as opposed to this one is for kids. Yeah.
If there are, certain events over the summer, or if people are looking to do their own event, is that a possibility as well, where they can book the studio and arrange to have you guys do something with them?
Yes, we have paint nights. You can book in a private party with a group of ladies if you would like, or a group of people for team building. And you would rent the party room for a couple hours. And then our instructor would lead a lead paint night. So it's a
Well, this
great
is
option.
Yeah, and this is just such a great, thing to have in the community, and like you said,
Yeah.
an option for different people. So, just
Yeah.
in regards to some of the other things happening over the summer,
Mhm.
Natasha, did we miss anything, or do you have any other things that are planned at this
No,
point? I mean, summer is just right around the corner, so there's
it
lots of
is.
it's going to come up quickly here.
Yeah, for sure. No, just mostly those events happening. Everything is on our website. We do have a QR code that you could scan on some of our events, or in the studio. We have it as well, or just head to the website, www.artsoulifecreativestudio.ca. Go to book online and everything will be there. The main thing though is the summer camps. Like we've got those 2 big weeks, something different every single day. We'll be focusing on different artists for some of our stuff. Some of it, the kids can get really creative. I do have a sample here. This is alcohol ink stained glass. This one will be super fun and popular with the kids because they'll get to pick whatever design they want. And then we like to do personalization as well.
Yeah.
This octopus one here will be for handprints. So, we just like to get dirty, get messy, get in there and have fun.
That's amazing, Natasha. And how much
Yeah.
space do you have left in these camps? Should people be getting on it right away if they want to get their kids signed up for them?
Yeah. I know it's super hard to plan in advance, but with us especially, we do, because we have such limited seating, we do fill up for stuff like that. And we get calls once in a while and we just don't have space. So yes, we do say to try to get in there a little bit early. Um, and I think we're half booked-ish for both. So we have a little bit of space, maybe 6 or 7 seats left in each one. So you can pick your weeks. If you want to come to both weeks, you can. They're different events or different crafts and stuff for both camps.
Well, thank you so
So
much
yeah,
for joining me today, Natasha. I appreciate it. And once
yeah,
again, can you just give out the information for people who are looking to either join the camps or just find out more about the studio in general?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's www.artsoulifecreativestudio.ca and everything is on there. And if you ever have any questions, you can also call the studio at 306-825-2787. And we have kind of different hours. We're open from 2 to 8 Wednesday to Friday and 12 to 5 Saturday, Sunday. We're always closed Mondays and Tuesdays. So leave me a message and I will always return your call.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Natasha.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Four of the best rib masters in the country are in Lloydminster this weekend for the 4th annual Border City Connects Rib Fest. So bring your dad out this Father's Day weekend for some delicious ribs, and you're going to find these rib masters in a new location this year. They're set up in the parking lot of the Service Sports Center. Admission to the site is free. You can enjoy some delicious food from some of the best rib masters. Plus this year, Border City Connects are working with the Kinsman Club of Lloydminster to host a beer gardens as well. There's going to be live entertainment throughout the weekend and also a free cabaret with the Prairie Dogs as well. Rib Fest is on right now. It continues tomorrow and Sunday too. For more details, you can visit Border City Connects on Facebook. Coming up tomorrow, Just Cruisin' is hosting their annual Show and Shine. This show is taking place in the parking lot in front of the Service Sports Center. And if you have a classic car, a classic truck, or even a vintage tractor that you want to show off as a part of the show, registration tomorrow runs from 9 until noon. If you're just heading out to the show with your family, it's going to run from 10 until 3. Admission is free. And once again this year, they're going to have a kids area at Just Cruisin's annual Show and Shine. So that's an opportunity for the kids to make a model. It's also an opportunity to take part in the Matchbox races and so much more. Plus, as a part of this show, there's going to be some special guests. The Lloydminster Rescue Squad will be here, the Britannia Fire Department as well, and awards are handed out at the end of the show, including an award for People's Choice. So make sure you cast your vote when you head out to Just Cruisin's annual Show and Shine. For more details, get in touch with Jerry at 780-871-1906. And coming up on Monday night, some amazing talent is going to be on stage at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, Lunch at Allen's. And this group is made up of 4 remarkable talents: Murray McLaughlin, Cindy Church, Mark Jordan, and Ian Thomas. For full details and to get your tickets, you can go online to vicjubatheatre.ca. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe, stay healthy, and have a happy Father's Day.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for another entertainment panel. Abby St. John is here as always, but Shelby, she's been off all week. Last Friday you had me filling in for weather. Now I'm filling in for entertainment panel, so I'm kind of coming for her job a little bit.
Just a little bit. So Shelby, watch out because he's coming.
Yeah. And I better live up to the hype. I know Shelby was kind of not sure if I'd be able to step into her shoes, but here we go. I'll give it a try. It wouldn't be an entertainment panel if we weren't talking about a Marvel Studio project, and this is an exciting one that I know you and Shelby have talked about before, but there was a lot of news coming out recently, reports of the different Disney projects that were kind of getting delayed, but this is one that is getting moved ahead 6 months, Deadpool 3.
Yes, Deadpool 3. We don't have plot details as of yet still, but we have news that it's being released, slated for May 2024. That's 6 months earlier than their original release date, so that's very exciting. May is still a long ways away. It's still less than a year away, but it is super exciting that it is coming out 6 months earlier. And, you know, we don't know a whole lot, but we are excited that Hugh Jackman is coming back as the Wolverine, considering he said back when Logan came out saying that that was the last time he would play Wolverine. Of course, him being really good friends with Ryan Reynolds, I think that really helped seal him to come back. And we know.
And they have great chemistry
too,
right?
Yes, exactly. I was just about to say that. They've released a couple of promotional videos for it, and they're all... It's so hilarious watching them interact, and you know, Deadpool is a comedy. That's, you know, his comedic relief type of living.
That's a big part of the movie.
It's a big part of who Wade is and who Deadpool is. So that's going to be really exciting. And, you know, Wolverine, he's kind of hard on, you know, interior and exterior. He doesn't like a lot of people. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bring him into the MCU. You know, this is Deadpool's debut in the MCU. So that's very exciting. And it's keeping its R rating. So it's the first to have an R rating. And I think it'll set a precedent for projects in the future to have that R rating because of how I think it was very important to fans that Deadpool kept its R rating because, you know, it'll follow the trend and the theme of the feel of the first two.
And it's also an exciting day today because it is your birthday, Abby St. John's birthday, my birthday tomorrow. So we're doing a kind of an interesting thing here on the entertainment panel where we're going to be talking a little bit about the films that came out on around the time that we were born. So I'll give you a chance. Around 1999 is when you were born. So kind of take us through a little bit about what was happening there when it comes to movies.
All the Star Wars fans were very disappointed by Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which came out May 19th. It did rack in over $431 million. So it did make a lot of money. However, it was an audience rating of 59%. So audience weren't too happy about that. And then on June 16th, on my birthday, Tarzan, Disney's Tarzan came out. And I will say this now and forever, one of the best, if not the best, Disney movie soundtracks. Phil Collins did not have to go as hard as he did, but he did. And
it's a banger.
It makes the movie just that much more better. So that came out June 16th, 1999, $171 million total grossing, and it's certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes with a critic of 89 and a 75 audience rating. And then Notting Hill, $116 million came out May 28th with a certified fresh of 84 and an audience of 79. So fans really like that, and it still remains a classic to this day. And then Big Daddy, number 5, Adam Sandler.
Which I love this movie. One of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, I think.
Yeah, I think it is a fantastic movie. It's a little bit of a tearjerker, just a bit. $163 million coming out on June 25th. And critics did not like this movie. I was shocked when I looked it up, and they only gave it a 39%, which shocks me. It is criminal. It is. It has a 74 audience rating, which is the more important rating. And then you were born June 17th, 2000, so a year.
1 year and 1 day, yes. And so when you came up with this idea, I thought it was super exciting. I really was like, this is gonna be super fun. Just to let you guys know, Abby goes through, she gives me the entire list of what was coming out on her birthday, and I'm like, wow, these are some like banger movies, super exciting. I go on through and look at my list, and I don't know if it was like Y2K earlier on, Hollywood was like, we're not gonna be putting out some good movies.
Well, they thought the world was gonna end.
So they're like, who cares? Let's not put out some good stuff. So looking at June around that time, 2000, so this is, you know, beginning of the millennium here, we have number 1, Mission Impossible 2, starring someone I know Abby loves. Came out March 24th, so that carried over into June, and it was the number 1 movie in June. But fans weren't loving it, critics weren't loving it. It had a 56 on the tomato meter, and the fan score was pretty close as well. Gone in 60 Seconds, so this is a Nicolas Cage movie, came out June 9th. Not very good with the critics, 25, but the audience seemed to like it, 77. So I haven't seen it, so I couldn't really tell you, but I usually trust when the audience is. A Disney one's coming up here next, so do you know what this one is going to be, Abby?
I don't know.
It's Dinosaur.
Oh!
Yeah.
I think I probably saw that when I was a kid. It sounds a little bit familiar, but definitely not one that I know well.
I was thinking the same thing. So it came out May 19th. So it came out the month before. It was still number 4 for the month of June in 2000. This is a movie I feel like my friends probably had it on VHS. I probably watched it at their place. I don't remember anything about it though. It's an animated film. So I might have to go back and watch it. But maybe not, because when we look at the Rotten Tomatoes, it had 65 on the tomato meter from the critics, 48 from the audience. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just one left, Shaft. Now this is a Samuel L. Jackson film. It's a remake of a movie that also happened years earlier, and people weren't loving this. I mean, the critics weren't, at least. 34 from the critics, but we have 94 from the audience, so quite a discrepancy there. Another film I haven't seen, kind of an action-y one, but looks like that would probably be almost one of the best here on my list. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel. If you missed Shelby, don't worry, she'll be back with Abby St. John next week. And that's all the time we have for this edition of Primetime Local News. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Get out there. There's so much happening in Lloyd, and we'll see you back here again on Monday.